Hi ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are doing amazing. So in today's video we're going to discuss energetic bonds and energetic cords. I think it's extremely important to talk about them because most of us we're usually not even aware that we're forming them when we do, okay? And by forming specific bonds with someone, right? That can ultimately impact our lives, okay? And the reason being, right, is because by forming bonds with someone, right, or energetic bonds, we become um, like energetic receivers, basically, right? So not only can we can someone who has connected with us or formed that specific bond, not only can they pick up on our energy, right, but we can also pick up on theirs, okay? And as you guys know, right, emotions, for example, they're energy too, right? And so are thoughts. Have you ever, I mean, I'm sure it has happened to most of you, right? You guys just thought about a specific person. It's usually a friend, right? Or, you know, a lover or a boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, right? And as soon as you thought about them, they called you, right? So this is exactly what I'm talking about, okay? In this case, right, connection was formed, right? Just think of it as a cord, like a cord that you cannot physically see, right? It's kind of like with the telephone, right? You cannot see that particular frequency going through, right? And doing its job, basically. You cannot see it, right, with the phone, but you can still call someone, take your phone, right, and call someone on the other end of the world, right? So this is exactly how it works with us too, right, in terms of when we communicate, right? So this is almost, I mean, I guess a lot of people can call it telepathy, right? Or they see, I don't know, most people think that you have to have some kind of a special gift, you have to be gifted in order to experience these abilities, right? Like telepathy, right? But no, I don't think that's it. I don't think that you have to be or you have to possess some kind of special abilities. You don't. I think it's natural for all of us, right? Because we're all energetic and spiritual beings, which means that we're all capable of using this, I guess, this particular gift, I guess. I don't know if gift is the right term. I guess you can learn how to tune in into those frequencies, right? And as you get more in touch with your emotions and what you're feeling about yourself and within yourself, you're also going to be very good at distinguishing what doesn't belong to you, which emotions don't belong to you, and which emotions are coming from somewhere else, okay? Or you will also be able to even identify whenever someone else is thinking about you, okay? This one is very, very easy actually, right? And I'll tell you how it works. Whenever someone is really thinking about you, like all the time, right? You pick up on it unconsciously, right? Because thoughts are also energy, right? And so someone else's thoughts, they're going to you, right? And so all of a sudden you start thinking about that person too, because their energy is in your energetic field, right? And so you start thinking about them too, okay? And if they're constantly thinking about you, right? Then you're definitely going to pick up on that, okay? And this also has to do with sexual energy too, okay? If someone is thinking about you sexually, you're also probably, you might also get excited or something, right? Like you might be like in the middle of doing something like washing the dishes or something, right? And if someone is thinking about you sexually, all of a sudden you might get like excited or aroused too, which is really crazy. I know it sounds insane, right? But this is exactly what happens because you're picking up on that person's energy, right? And the fact that they're thinking about you, and so yeah, you're receiving that energy. And if you're a very like if you're a very in tune individual, right? If you're a sensitive individual, if you're an empath, then you will definitely know when this is happening, okay? So you will know when someone is always thinking about you, because that person will always be popping, and they will always pop into your head, right? And suddenly you won't be able to get them out of your head too, you know, even if you don't want to. How do you know that this is the case also is that you can be in the middle of something also, right? Maybe you're spending time with your family or something, right? And you don't really like you're not thinking about that person, right? But suddenly they just kind of like start popping into your mind, and you're like, what is this about? Like, I'm focused on something else, but I'm picking up on your energy, you know? So this is exactly what's going on here, right? And so yeah, guys, right? So energetic bonds, they can happen with any chakra, right? Or multiple chakras within your energy body, okay? And most of these bonds happen naturally, right? They happen with your friends, with your family, with children, co-workers, neighbors, right? And so you have to be really, really careful in terms of who you connect or bond with, okay? Because some of these bonds, while most of them will maybe perhaps be positive, right? Some of them will not be positive, right? And this can happen with, like, for example, a trauma bond, whereas a narcissist and an empath bond, right? And because of that bond now, right? Because of that deep energetic connection, right? It might be extremely difficult to walk away physically from a relationship that can be potentially abusive, right? As in the case with the trauma bond, okay? And so, one more thing that I will mention, right, is that something very interesting also happens when two individuals connect, okay? So, when they connect, right, and if the connection is very strong, right, like I said, right, they can be picking up on each other's thoughts, okay? Of course, it doesn't happen consciously, it kind of happens unconsciously, right? I will give you an example of that, okay? Um, so, human beings naturally pick up a lot of things unconsciously, okay, in terms of their environment, right? Um, and this happens with energy reading too, okay? But this also happens in terms of everything, right? It's kind of like it's impossible to be aware of everything consciously, right? But a lot of things we are aware of unconsciously, kind of, right? They are just not simply brought to our awareness yet, right? Anyways, but this happens to me all the time. For example, when I dress my kid, you know, a lot of times when I try to dress my kid in certain clothes, right? I don't even think about, like, I never think about matching or anything like this, right? But it just happens sometimes, just unconsciously, I suppose. So then, after I dress him, after I dress myself, right? I it comes to my consciousness that, you know, I become aware that I dressed him just like me, you know. So we now match, right? So this happens too. This happens with, for example, someone that maybe you're crushing on, right? Maybe you guys have a crush on one another, right? And you I don't know, maybe you go to the gym or something, right? And you notice that this person is wearing the same clothes as you. Once again, because you guys have an energetic connection, right? You've created a bond, basically. You can now pick up on their thoughts in terms of what they're wearing or what they're going to wear. So you or maybe you're thinking that you're gonna wear something and they're picking up on it, and they kind of they dress like you. So when you go to the gym, you see that they're wearing the same things as you. Okay, so this is really interesting. Also, right, a lot of people might call this, for example, um, synchronicity, right? Um, you know, a lot of people will call this the universe trying to bring you two together, right? But I don't think that's necessarily the case, okay, here. Um, yeah, some might say that the person, whenever you're seeing the person um, in specific locations, right? Maybe you go to different places and you're constantly bumping into that person, right? Some would say that, oh, it's fate, the universe is trying to bring you two together, right? Okay. Some would say that it's you manifesting them, or they are manifesting you into their reality, right? Okay, maybe, right? But I would say that it has more to do with energy once again, right? And because you guys have formed this energetic connection between you two, right? Because there's this bond, this energetic bond. Once again, you might think, okay, today I'm gonna go there and there. Once again, just like dressing, just like clothes, they're picking up on that energy and they're reading it unconsciously, and they go to the same spot as you, okay? And you end up bumping into them. It's kind of like a cell phone, honestly, guys, okay? Um, it is telepathy, okay? It's you guys are communicating um, by your thoughts, and that's it. It's really insane, but it's amazing how it works. And if you have a strong connection with someone, then this will happen all the time, okay? They will read your thoughts, and you will read their thoughts, you know. And so um, that's why also, guys, you know, it's really important to to be careful who you form these bonds with, okay? Because now I will get to my next point, right? Is because um, by connecting with someone, right, you guys will be picking up on their energy, their emotional energy too, okay? So if they're the type of a person who is not a decent person, you know, if they're dishonest, if they're depressed, if they are they're not a good guy or a girl, right? If they're anxious, if they're angry all the time, right? You're going to also, by forming energetic cords with them, right, or energetic bonds, you're going to be feeling those emotions too, okay? And they might start impacting your day, okay? You might all of a sudden start feeling anxious too, right? Whereas before you were feeling fine, you were feeling great, you know? You might start getting depressed too, right? So you might be picking up on all of that negative energy, okay? And so this is going, in turn, will affect your personal energy, okay? And that's not a good thing in my book, you know? So that's why it is so imperative to be careful who you form your connections with, okay? Um, that's why, guys, like, there's no such thing as, like one night stands, right? Like sleeping with someone, for example, it's getting sexual with someone. It is very serious, okay? You form extremely strong attachments to someone in this way. And if you don't know them as a person, right, or if you don't even like their energy, for example, right, you're stuck with that connection, that spiritual connection, that energetic connection for, I don't know how long they last. Some say sleeping with someone forms a connection for 7 years. I don't know this for sure. I can't tell you, but I'm guessing it's for a very long time, okay? So um, yeah, and how do these connections happen anyways, right? These connections can happen through touch, obviously, right? Touch is a big one. Then they can also happen through eye contact, okay? So if you guys are like looking at each other in the eyes, right, for a long time, um, then of course that's eye contact, right? And looking at someone for longer than usual, right? Um, I think it's more than 2 seconds or something like that, right? But looking each other in the eyes is extremely personal, right? It's exciting, especially if you like that someone, right? And once again, it forms that bond, it forms that connection, okay? So be careful with that. You know, be careful with looking into someone's eyes, right? Especially if you know, if you don't want to form a bond with them. Okay. Once again, also, you know, sharing your energy, sitting right next to one another can form that bond. Okay. Um, you know, sharing your energy, right, in terms of like physicality, if they're closer to you than usual, right, if they invade your personal space, then that can also form an energetic bond, right? What else? Of course, talking, you know, seeing one another all the time, right? That can form a bond. Um, so the constant interactions, you know, physical interactions, right? Like hugging one another, sleeping especially with one another, and things like that, basically, you know, exchanging gifts, I don't know, right? Um, so once again, be careful with, in terms of who you form these connections with, because they will ultimately impact your energy. They will impact your ability to manifest. They will impact your mood, okay? They will impact your everything in your life, okay? And they will even impact your relationship with your kids, for example, you know, if you have any. I'll give you an example of that, right? Let's just say that individual is an anxious, depressed, angry individual, right? All of that energy gets sent to you now, right? Because you formed a bond with them. You can pick up on that energy, right? And ultimately your mood gets impacted, right? Because your mood is now impacted, you're a person who's like pretty much always in a good mood, right? But because of the fact that you're picking up on someone else's energy, right? And you've developed a strong connection with them, maybe even unconsciously, right? Um, you your own mood is now impacted, right? And because of that, you might not, you know, be the friendliest person with your child, right? Maybe you're like a you're not so pleasant to be around, you know. Maybe you're not in the mood to play with them anymore, you know. Whereas before that, if the connection wasn't there, you would have been, you know, still a very fun person to hang out with, right? And to be around with. And so that's why, you know, be really, really careful in terms of who you connect with energetically and, of course, physically, obviously, right? It will impact your life. It will impact your manifestations. It will impact your blessings. It's a very, very important thing, you know. And like I said, you know, these things can be even formed with your neighbors. You know, these energetic bonds. They can be formed with your neighbors. They can be formed with people that you're just constantly seeing and sometimes exchanging, you know, words with, and so on, you know. So be careful, you know, make sure that you choose wisely, make sure you choose a vibrational match, right? Someone who can match your energy, and make sure you're yeah, yeah. I'm not saying to not be friendly with people, you know, and be rude and disrespectful or something like that. No, just, you know, just like it's sort of like you know, just make sure you have boundaries. You know, you have energetic boundaries. Okay. Oh yeah. Once again, I will go into something else here too, right? I want to discuss energy clearing and cord cutting too. Okay, guys. So this one, right? You want to do this one um, if you don't want to be connected with someone. Okay, maybe you're always like thinking about them for some reason, even if you don't want to, right? Like I said, because they're probably thinking about you, right? Or maybe you're feeling their negative emotions. Make sure you just cut those cords, you know, cut those cords mentally, right? Just imagine yourself, maybe sit down, you know, maybe sit down somewhere on the couch, close your eyes, you know, get into a meditative state. Or even, actually, you don't even have to do that, okay? You can just imagine like yourself in a white bright light, right? And just imagine scissors just like cutting those energetic cords with that, particular person. Okay, now just do this in your head. You know, it's like and it will work. You know. Of course, once again, if the bond was formed, if it's like a soul tie, I think they're probably harder to break, right? And they might take some time, but it's still possible to, I believe, clear every bond that's been created. You know, or ask God, ask our higher, ask the source, right, to create. I mean, to cut all those cords and bonds for you, or cut the ones that are unhealthy at least. Okay, and yeah, some other things that you can do is, you know, you can take salt baths. Okay, those are very, not are they good for you in terms like physically, right? They get rid of all sorts of toxins, but they also, you know, once again, they clear our energy. Okay, and so that's why, you know, meditation is so good for you. You know, because it clears your energy. You know, so make sure you meditate, right? Imagine yourself in a, you know, just sit still for like 5 minutes, right? And imagine yourself in a white ball, right? Like as if you're like you're surrounded by white light, right? And yeah, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there are all kinds of meditations that you can do, right? And you can research that by yourself, but yeah, you can meditate, right? You can cut cords in your head, right? By imagining that like you're cutting the cords with your scissors, and you can take salt baths, right? Salt baths. Anyways, I hope you really enjoyed this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I love you guys so much. All right, bye.